Hey everybody, welcome to Marriaging. We've been sharing our story. You heard about our dating, our meeting, our engagement, wedding, and tonight we are talking parenting.
And check it out, we're going to give you 5 principles so that if you can practice these principles, you'll be as good of parents as us. You might be as good as us. We're just saying maybe.
Shiloh, you're such a brat.
You and me, we got this. Gonna take some practice. Superpower oneness. We are marriaging. Oh, oh.
Wonder Twin Powers activate.
We are marriaging.
Welcome back to Marriaging. I'm Ricky.
And I'm Nova, and this is
Elisha.
And Shiloh.
So tonight we're going to talk about parenting, and we're going to share a little bit of our story. And hopefully, by us sharing our story, maybe you can grab some principles of what to do and what to
not do.
do.
These are my amazing babies. Only this one is a big human now. This is Elisha. His name means God is my salvation, which is super important.
Yeah.
And he is 12 years the elder of little Miss Shiloh Joy, who's 7 years old, little surfer girl. And I'm so proud of who you both have become thus far.
So Shiloh graduated from first grade, and she is now what?
A second grade.
Yes, and Elisha just finished his freshman year in college.
Yep.
A freshman at,
San Diego Christian.
and he represents.
The baseball team.
Yes.
Fox.
We don't ever want to come across like we got it all together. So we've asked Shiloh and Elisha to share one parenting tip that we do that they really appreciate. And I wish we could stop it right there.
I want to stop right there. No, I don't, because we need to be honest about the things that you think that we do really right as parents. And then we want you guys to share something that is maybe frustrating that we've been working on or that we need to work on.
Yeah, things that we don't do great.
I'll be brutally honest. I'm just kidding.
Jeez. Let's start with Shiloh girl. And by the way, we also want to talk about family planning. So we suggest every 12 years having a child.
See, such a good babysitter.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. Shiloh, we're going to start with you, okay?
Can you share with the people that are watching in our marriaging community something that mommy and daddy do really well as parents?
You play dolls with me, and then Daddy takes me out to surf.
So we spend time with you?
Yeah.
Ooh, those are some good parents right there.
Surfing and playing dolls are things that you hate or love.
Love.
So we spend time with you doing things that you...
Love.
Yeah. And can you share what mommy and daddy do that maybe isn't so great that we're trying to work out and figure out how to do better?
Maybe one time in the kitchen, I spelled milk, and you were mad at me, and it wasn't such a big deal. And you were mad at me, and I was frustrated.
Mm-hmm. You've heard the phrase, don't cry over spilled milk? That would we didn't live up to that phrase in our house.
We got mad over spilled milk. Shoot.
So daddy lost his temper over spilled milk? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And is spilled milk that big of a deal?
No.
Mm-hmm. And did that hurt your feelings?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You said sorry,
Mm-hmm.
and I forgive you.
Mm-hmm. I said sorry, and then you forgave me? Wow. Thanks for forgiving me.
Something mommy has done that you would wish that maybe you could do better, mommy, as my mommy?
Well, when we were in school, I think you went frustrated at me a little bit.
It's true. Mommy and daddy have to learn from the Lord, right? Yeah, and we're learning. Mm-hmm. In our family, is anybody perfect?
No.
But we're all decided that we're gonna learn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But it's also really important to apologize to each other, huh?
When you apologize to me, Mommy and Daddy, it makes me feel closer to you.
Love you.
Love you.
Thanks for sharing your heart.
You're welcome.
Okay, now the 19-year-old. All right, so one thing that you appreciate about our parenting and one thing that we could have done better.
Because you have a lot of history, more than her.
Yeah. By the way, check out this mustache.
I'm growing it out. This is
Yeah.
about a week. All right. Well, in my 20 years experience of being a son to these amazing parents, we've gotten in a lot of arguments, but we've also had a lot of fun. One thing I love about you is you're just that mother to me, at the end of the day, I can come back from no matter what circumstance, what hardship, what having a hard time in math in the 7th grade, or whatever happens, I know that at the end of the day, I will be able to hug you, and I get to confide in you. I get to tell you the secrets of my heart. You're kind of always there. Almost like you're a hug to me. Like, I just love hugging you because it's an instant stress relief. So just being able to calm my stress is something that I've just really appreciated, especially starting college, going through high school. Like, it's just been just a huge major blessing.
Have I been your soft landing?
Yes. And then something that I love about you, just the little things in my life that I've seen you put in my head, that like leadership skills, character building opportunities that I didn't see when I was whatever age I was. Even now you're still doing it and I don't even notice. But instituting those like character building things in my life, I look back at them, raking the leaves at our neighbor's Bob's house, whatever it was, you were building me. And just being able to be a little bit older now and see those things, it makes me appreciate them like so much more. So
Awesome.
Yeah, love you.
I feel like we should have ended on the good thing.
All right, thanks for joining us today.
We're so happy you joined us.
And
It's
cut.
over. Bye. We'll be honest about the ways that we could have done better as parents that would be helpful for you and your children, or for anybody who's watching.
Well, I mean, you guys are human, and you have both let me know that at the end of arguments and all that. We're human, and I'm a human, so we're gonna make mistakes. I'd say just one thing that in general sometimes that I wish I had more of was in an argument being heard more. I think that just comes along with me being a rebellious teenager or whatever. Like, I wasn't rebellious, but
No, you were opinionated.
I was an
probably.
opinionated. Yeah, I was like, and I'm still opinionated. When we're in an argument and you guys kind of like get on me, and then I want to give my 2 cents, I never get that 2 cents in.
How could we do it better?
Just giving me 30 seconds. Like, when we're in an argument, it's
Because this is like we're talking heated, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
up here,
yeah.
and we're not yellers, but we're like
Yeah.
passionate.
yeah, and
Okay.
like you're more like, this is how it is. It doesn't matter what you say after. And you're
Yes.
just like, no, we're done. Like, and then you walk out. Like, that's just how it is. Maybe having 30 seconds to explain myself, and if I get those 30 seconds to maybe actually like hear that sometimes. But I mean, it's helped me be more humble, I'd say. Like, and life's not always fair, so that's just how it is sometimes. Yeah. If every parent would make their kids spend time with their families more than they let them play video games. I think if every family puts family time in front of everything else, I think the Lord will bless that. You spend more time building a family relationship, the home will inherently become better and become a stronger, healthier family overall. Family's a tree without any water, any sunlight, or some of the trees getting sunlight, some of it's frozen. It's going to be an unproductive tree, but if we're all working in unison, it can be beautiful. Trying to use our family strengths together,
Yeah.
and not going off in separate things, because like what we're doing right now
Yeah, is good for you.
is good for us. We never go to bed mad at each other. Like, that it doesn't matter how bad the argument is, we always go to bed on positive terms. I think that people who go to bed mad at each other wake up mad at each other,
Yeah.
and that will ruin the next day, which
Yeah.
ruins the next day. Being able to go home and know that at the end of the day, when I put down my head, we are all friends is amazing. Like, I've had you wake me up so that we can make up, especially when we were like 14 to 17, when I didn't clean my room that often. You guys my entire life have made a effort to do what I love. You are there when I'm doing the things I love, whether that's surfing, you guys are there, whether that's fishing, that you guys are there, whether that's playing baseball, you guys are always there. So, like, I think showing up and being there even when you don't have to is huge. Giving them freedom, let them make their own mistakes, I'd say, You never told me not to go to a party. You never told me not to drink. You never told me not to smoke, and I never did. Now that's partly who I am. That's my conviction. Like, I never did it because that was just our family values, you know.
Always tried to say yes as much as we could, but when we said no, we meant it.
Yeah.
Would you say that that's how we parented you?
You guys had rules, and those rules that you said, you let your yes be yes and your no be no. Those were the rules. But you also allowed me to have fun and go do what I loved. And even if you knew maybe it wasn't always the smartest, like, you let me do it anyway.
When you jumped off the 60-foot cliff in Hawaii
Exactly.
with your friend whose parents weren't with us, and he was.
Yeah, exactly. Letting your child thrive a little, just letting them find their own personality. You can't just shut them down in everything.
Well, I know we have to wipe my feet before we go inside.
It's a rule.
Okay.
Okay.
The rule is, I know we can't smoke. That's all I can't smoke.
Smoking clear.
Just to be really clear, I don't know if I've ever had a conversation with my 7-year-old about smoking. But,
Okay,
okay,
keep
that's
going,
awesome.
Shannon.
Go ahead.
I know we can't smoke.
No, we can't smoke.
we can't.
We've tried it.
Listening to you guys, listening to each other. It's like parent them.
Parent.
Hi, like when I wake up, and good night when I go to bed.
Yeah.
You call me beautiful,
Mhm.
like every morning when I wake up. Maybe like in surfing, like you say, like you should practice this. Like keep doing this, you should practice. Listen to the Bible together and like reading the Bible. I kiss you guys. Say kind words.
Be the same every single day. Don't be different. Don't be a different parent every day. Treat your kid with respect. Let them have fun. Let them have freedom. But also make sure that what they're doing doesn't lead them down the wrong path. Just love one another. It's just like what the Lord calls us to do. I mean, parenting is not that hard. Just kidding. I'm just joking.
So the worst thing that could happen is if you watch Marriaging and we're talking about our marriage, or we're telling our story and we just tell you all the amazing things and post all the pictures of us smiling and having a great time, and we never tell you the truth, there potentially could be some comparison.
Yeah.
And what we don't want to have happen is you comparing your relationship or your parenting with what we do. All we want to attempt to do with this show is encourage you. That's it. We want to encourage you.
Hopefully the encouragement helps, but also I think we need to sometimes just like level the playing field, that there's not a perfect marriage and there's not perfect parents, and we don't always do everything right, and it's okay to fail and recognize it and then pick yourself back up and go, okay, we could do this better. We could.
Right.
I think it's all about continuing to be people who want to learn.
Yep.
We say study each other, but I think really we need to study our children. Like,
Yep.
we know that our son is an adventurer.
Yep.
So we recognized that when he was really little. Now, did we always let him do everything he wanted to do? We didn't. But we recognized and we studied him, and we didn't idolize, didn't like have child worship, but we saw the gifts in him.
Yep.
And we wanted him to soar and be his own person, and that he is becoming and being his own man at this point in his life.
In the Bible, in Proverbs, actually, there's a verse that says, if you train up a child in the ways that they should go, that when they are old, they will not depart from those ways. Okay, so it's King Solomon that was writing this. He's a really wise king, and it was essentially advice. And the context behind why he gave that advice, it was for mothers when their babies were having a hard time finding breast milk. Essentially, they would put honey on the breast or sugar on the breast, and then the baby would taste the sugar and then begin to nurse unknowingly that they were feeding themselves, but they were just going after this good stuff, right? And it was the way that they should have gone, but they didn't know that. So we had to train them to go the way that they should go. And by doing so, they're going to find their way, and eventually they're not going to need honey to find the breast milk. Okay, so the same with kids. If your kid is bent on, like ours is an adventurer, so we allowed him to be exposed to a bunch of outdoor activities and fun outdoor stuff and water sports, and because we knew that's how he was made to go. We didn't plop him in front of a computer or screen, because he was made to be an adventurer. So we pushed him along in the way that he should go. And now that he's getting older, he is an adventurer. So.
Yeah, he is, and he's grateful. Like it's kind of fun to have one that's still growing, and then to have like kind of raised an adult and know that like he'll tell us the truth about our parenting.
Oh, will he ever tell us the
Will he
truth?
ever? How awesome is it that we can have these conversations with him? And some things are hard to hear, like that you didn't listen sometimes the way he would have wanted you to listen, and for us as parents to just go and not even beat ourselves up and just realize we are human.
That's right. Now we want to give you some practical steps. We're going to give you 3 things to do, and we call those 3 things
Homework time, oh.
That was good, huh?
That was way too long. We've got homework.
3 things.
3 things. Just 3.
That's it.
I mean, there's a million things we could say, but we're just saying 3. And I think these are the most important for us, especially in the current situation we're in with our family.
Before we tell you these 3 things, we just want to let you know that there has been seasons in our parenting that we've nailed these 3 things. And we're like, yes. And
This
then
is easy, and it's never going to be hard again.
And then there's other times that we have not done these 3 things. So, but they've worked when we've tried them. So here they are.
Number 1 in our homework is have a family meeting. If your child is old enough to tell you, hey, you're doing great at being a parent in this way, or this is really challenging, have a family meeting. Regardless of their age, you can have a family meeting. But to really open your lives up, as parents, we have some blind spots. And if you can maybe be humble enough to hear what they have to say, and decide together, like we always talk about, hearing and listening, and then deciding that we're going to be people who are willing to work on it.
Yeah.
So have that family meeting, ask the tough questions.
Yeah.
Say, what am I doing great? That, like the start, stop, continue.
Right.
Maybe what could I start as a parent that I'm not doing? What could I stop that is not working for us? And then what are we doing great? Continue. What can we continue to do that's really breathing life into you?
Yeah, it's actually a business model, and it's really, really effective. You can use it in your relationship as husband and wife or dating, but with your kids. So what can we start doing as parents that we're not?
Stop doing.
What should we stop doing that drives you crazy? And then what should we
continue?
What should we continue?
And the truth is, some of the things will probably be hard to hear.
Yep.
But that is part of growing and developing a culture in your family.
That's right.
A culture of listening, seeing each other, and hearing each other, and growing together. Because if you're not growing, you're what?
You're dying.
You're dying. So that's the first thing.
Yep.
Family meeting.
Okay, so number 2 is you want to start, if you are not already doing it, if you're already doing it, way to go. But you want to start a bedtime ritual, okay? So, and if you can extend it, a morning and an evening ritual. So what you do in the evening, and that's going to determine really how they wake up, and then what you do in the morning is going to determine their day. So for little ones, you brush their teeth, you pray for them, you stroke their head, and you tell them 3 things that you think are great about them, and that's it, right? So something simple. Your kids will thrive in that ritual, and they'll ask for it if you stop doing it. Our 19-year-old, still to this day, if he comes home, our ritual for him is she would always snuggle with him, and we'd kiss him and tell him we loved him.
Pray,
and
read books.
Now the kid will get home at 12 o'clock at night, and he'll make his way upstairs, and next thing you know, he's snuggling with her, and I'm kicking him out of my bed because he's bigger than both of us, and so it doesn't really work at 19. So the evening ritual and then the morning time ritual, okay? And I want to tell you, in order to fulfill these rituals, you have to put your cell phone away. I know. That's a tough thing.
You do.
You have to put it away. You can't be praying with them and then checking your texts and walking around the house as they're brushing your teeth, holding your phone, or they're eating your breakfast and then you're doing email. For goodness sake, we've got to put the phones down, everybody.
And we've been guilty of those things, so we know. Have fun and be creative, and please let us know what yours are so we can share them with each other, and we can be a part of this community. And because I want new ideas. And the third homework thing is, we've talked about this before within marriage, but parents, learn to tell your children that you're sorry. So saying sorry is a is huge
It's
for our
huge.
kids.
By you saying you're sorry, it acknowledges that you're not perfect, nor should you expect them to be. And you make mistakes, as they will make mistakes. And then you humble yourself. You humbly say, hey, I just want to acknowledge I hurt you, and it was not, whether it was intentional or unintentional, I hurt you, and I'm really sorry I hurt you.
As now that we have this big 19-year-old human that's going to be 20 in the fall, like the power of speaking, saying sorry and meaning it,
Yeah.
has been revolutionary and life-changing for him, because it just levels everything. There's something that cuts through when you say I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It cuts through that pride in us, that ego in us that wants to be right.
It takes a lot more strength to own up to your mistakes and your shortcomings than it does to cover them up. It's actually weakness to not apologize, and you need to hear that. And you don't have to believe me, but it's true. So to reiterate what we're saying, number one,
Have a family meeting.
have a family meeting. Number two, you're going to start evening or morning traditions. Number three, you're going to say,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. It feels so good.
It does feel good.
Good.
Hey, so
Say it again. I love
I'm
that.
sorry.
But do you mean it?
Well, I'm sorry for anything I should be sorry for.
Like
or
from the past.
From
and
the
then
past
maybe
and
for the
anything in the
future.
future. Right.
Okay. That covers it. But I want to hear it again.
If you are really struggling as a parent, we have been there, and we would love to chat with you. So this isn't just about you getting information here in our story. Would you just hit us up, DM us on Instagram, on Facebook, or send a message on our YouTube channel, and we check those very regularly, and we'll get back with you. If you need just prayer or advice or encouragement, we'll do our best. Would you please not try to go this alone? Especially single moms and single dads, if you're listening to this. First of all, you're our heroes, and second of all, you're not alone. We're here to help, and we want to do so.
Encourage you.
Yeah, so that's it. That's all we got for you today.
Yeah. Well, we're marrying. We want
Yeah,
you to
we're-
marriage. We
that's
want you
right.
to parent well in marriage. And remember, we are marrying for the next generation, and our ceiling is our children's floor. And so that is an awesome responsibility, and it's an awesome adventure and opportunity.
So may your ceiling be your children's floor, and may you have very good lovemaking tonight.
There it is. I can't believe you got it in, but you did. I was like, there's no way, because we're talking about parenting.
Got it in. Okay, we'll see you.
Bye.